hello everyone. My name is Jin. So today I'm going to introduce the basic knowledge of the Flutter before we actually start the workshop. So today we're going to build the chat application. All right. So what is Flutter? Who knows Flutter again? So few people. I see many people doesn't know it. So Flutter is an open source framework from Google. So if you want to build cross-platform application with single source base, and then let's say you want to build Android, iOS, Windows, and Linux application, same code, you can have the multiple application in same time. So that's the Flutter. And the language we use is called Dart. So it's a fairly easy language, I found. So if you want to learn language, I think it's a good start too. All right, so little marketing, let's say. So Google said, actually, as of May 2023, there's like over 1 million of applications have shipped with Flutter to hundreds of millions of devices. So Flutter is real. It's not something, experimental. It's really real, production ready. You can right away start your app, and then you can even deliver to your customers. So let me show you a little bit about the examples. So this is the Flutter showcase webpage. So I don't know if you can see that all, but if you see here who's using Flutter, BMW is using Flutter to make the application. Google Pay is in Flutter, and Nubank financial application is in Flutter, and everyone know here Kijiji is in Flutter, and there's many. For example, Google Classroom, Alibaba Group, ByteDance. Like big players are already using Flutter to make their application. All right, so why do we use Flutter? So Flutter first is really fast because Flutter compile into the native code. So let's say if you are making Android application, in Android, there's the virtual machine is running, right? So even you write Kotlin or Java code, it's running on the virtual machine, right? But Flutter application running as native code. Like if you build the C++ code or like Rust or those kind of things, so it compiles to native, it runs super fast. That's the reason. And then it has really productive tools, so really nice dev tools like the hot reload. So if you change some code and then you just save it, right away you're going to see some change in your real device or emulator or anything you are using as the target device. And it's flexible. So it's not only just writing business logic, you can control every pixel in your screen with a Flutter. So you can create as much as you want. So in Flutter, this basic, really important concept is a wizard. Who knows React? All right, there's quite people. So React, there's concept like component, right? So you can think of wizard as kind of component. So it includes, describe how it looks like the UI, and then also some business logic in it for the state and so on. So you build using the wizard like Lego blocks to make your application. And so on the right side, if you see this whole application is wizard, and then every element there is also wizard. So like I said, Lego block. So you assemble the Lego block to make your application. So I think I wanted to show you this application, but I think I can skip it today. And today we're going to use the Dart path instead of setting up the Flutter SDK on your laptop. It takes a lot of time. I don't know anyone was in the dev fest, but we already experienced there's a lot of trouble. So today we're going to use Dart path, meaning that only thing you need is a laptop, Wi-Fi, and the browser. That's it. Then you're going to code Flutter application today. So let me show you how it looks like, Dart path. So do you see it? It's too small, right? Oop. How can I zoom in?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah.
OK, so on the left side, you see the code. This one is pure Dart application, not Flutter. So if I just run it, on the right, in the console, you see multiple hello world. And let me show you another example. Actual Flutter application running in the Dartpad. Let's say count application. It's typical, I mean, it's a kind of symbolic application because this one is like hello world for Flutter. Okay. So you see there's a Flutter code on the left side written in Dart, and then I just run it. Then why it's not working? Demo effect?
Have to wait.
Yeah. Maybe network?
Maybe.
All right.
You have a. What the fuck?
Refresh the page. Just refresh the
Quit the magnificent.
Finish this. Then try again.
Maybe connect to your internet.
Okay. In the meantime, I can explain something else. All right. So in Dartpad, here it's supposed to run the Flutter application on the right with the GUI, and then there's counter button. You can plus, and then it's actually running application. So in Dartpad, there's some limitation. Oh,
Sorry.
now you go. So it's actually running application, and then I click. You see, I can prove it that it's working. And some limitation there. So Dartpad is great, but if you want to use some external library, there's a limitation. So they listed up all the library you can use it. So if you wonder why your Flutter code is not working, then maybe you can check this package. So it's a little button here on the right bottom. So you can check that. And then the other one here on the left bottom, I don't know if you see it, there's a keyboard icon. If you click it, you can see the shortcut so that, if you use it like your own IDE, some convenient feature is over there. In case you forget, just click it, and then you're going to see it. And then like I already show you, the run button is there. So run your code, just click the button. All right. So I think I can skip this part. I already explained. Same thing. Shortcut, same thing. Oh, yeah. So I already showed you the console message with a Dart application. So in the Dartpad, there's console tab so that you can debug your code by logging some stuff. And yeah, this one is another the good feature in Dartpad. So you just move your cursor to some code, then it will show you the documentation automatically. So in the documentation tab. So that's it. So now it's turn for Billy. So we can start workshop.
Yeah, hi. So I invite everyone to just go to this link. You will go. It will bring you to this Dartpad. Oh. Yeah. Can you show the URL? Oh, sorry. This one. Just give it some seconds.
Everyone have Wi-Fi access?
Yeah, everyone have a Wi-Fi.
We have
Oh, we forgot. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, next slide. So during the workshop, if you have any question or trouble, just raise hand if you need help. It can be about code, anything, internet. And so you will land on this website, like on the left panel, you will have the instruction. So the first part will be the goal. So it will explain you what is the goal of the step, because you have 10 steps. So just some explanation of how to use Dartpad. So you have some tips here. You can just press the button run, or you have the steps on the left, bottom left. You will have here on the bottom. So it's a bit hidden. You will have UI output. When you press run, it will go up, but it's down. Like you can press here. There's nothing now, but like if you press, for example, this button. So depending on the web network, it can be fast. Now it's not the case, but it might take some time every steps. So make sure before clicking run. Also, you can check the console, but in this workshop, we don't use the print, so it wouldn't be necessary. So to make this workshop, make sure that you read the to-do. So on the right side of the code, you will see to-dos. Normally, you don't need to write code outside the to-dos. Just under the to-dos should be enough. You can see one here, for example. You're going to make it bigger. Yeah. For example, this one, click run and see what's happening, and just run. And it's this. So for example, so I'm going to present the first step, and then after that, I will give you 15 minutes. And then after that, we're going to make the solution for the steps you already reached. So basically, in 15 minutes, depends on how far you go, we will do the solution of the few first steps. So everyone can go to the first steps. So for example, this one, I'm going to explain how to run a Flutter app. So Flutter is based on widget, and the only way to run the app is by using this method, run app. And so here there's a small explanation you can read. And this one says, for example, just make sure to import. It's not here. Yeah, it's not here. Make sure to import Flutter material. Okay, maybe this one is missing. And here on the to-do, just type run app. What it was saying? It was saying implement run app that starts some app. So just do it, run app, and here some app. So now there's nothing red. I can just press run. I think this one is the last one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it takes some time. Okay. So anyway, if you have any question about Flutter itself, you have the Q&A link. It can be about anything. If you saw something that you don't understand, maybe you can ask, okay, what run app, I don't know. Can we run app somewhere else, for example, or anything technical? So yeah, here you have like the results. So this is the first step. We can give you 15, is good? 15 or 10? 15 minutes? Yeah, 15 minutes, and then we will do the solution of the other steps. If you're stuck and you cannot go further, you can press the show solution here. It will give you the solution, and you can also run it.
Let's check out everyone at this SF. Everyone?
ready to code.
Okay, perfect.
So you have 15 minutes, so go as fast as you can, and then we'll check up after 15 minutes.
Yeah, raise your hand if you need any help.
Okay, so now we're going to just create the solution for the second step. So the second step? No, the third step. Sorry. So the third step was to prepare the app. So as I said, like before, run app is the function that runs the app. The thing is, an app is just not widget itself. An application in general it has a lot of things: router, theme, I don't know what it is. Navigation, history, can have context. So all of this thing is given by material app. So material app has, like itself has inside a lot of things that give you tools to manage your app. And so for this one, it says, so you have to implement basically a widget that returns the core app, so material app. So here you have the solution on the left. So this is the syntax to create a widget. So you can just copy paste this one. And basically it's a class that extends stateless widget. So stateless widget is a type of widget that is just here to render something. It doesn't have any states inside. And I think you saw there's the super key is because you can identify, it's like HTML, you have ID. It's the same thing. So on widgets, you have a key. So you can identify a widget and target it maybe in a test or anything else. Or if you want to like get the value, you can just get the key value, and then you kind of can get the value of the widget. So like React, you have the render function. This one has a build, and in this function has to return the child. So the child will be material app for that case. Material app. And I think you saw how you put a child inside the app. It calls home, because home is kind of part of the navigation of the app. So it's like the slash, for example. There's multiple ways to implement navigation, but the simple way is just putting home in the property, and just use some page like the to-do says. So after that, you just run it, and it should be here. Error compilation, because I forgot to do something somewhere because I didn't change this one. So I didn't put this here. And now it shouldn't be red. It should work. Yeah, it looks good. And it's coming. Also, if you didn't see, if you want to see the documentation, you just have to click on material app, for example. You click on documentation, it will give you immediately what's the property is, how to use it, when to use it, and it's here. Go to the next step. So create your first page. So material app, as you saw, it's more the application itself. So it's how the app is going to behave. Scaffold is more, it's kind of like, it's very describing a page. So if you have multiple pages, you just have multiple widgets with scaffold everywhere. So for these steps, it says create a page. Okay. So I'm going to just take the same structure as the previous widget, and I'm going to change it. So I take this Flutter page, and it wants in the body. So scaffold, as it's a page, it wants a body. So this one. So if you did web, it's very similar. So you have the HTML part, scaffold, and then you have the body inside, and you put the contents. And then here you can put the placeholder. So the placeholder widget is really used when you want to create very fast UI. And it just gives you a square with like a box with a cross inside. It's really, really useful when you don't have assets and you want to replace it with something else. It can simulate anything, just a box. So I'll run it, waiting. Okay, just waiting. So Scaffold has more things. So it's here, the cross. Scaffolds inside, as it says here, this part, allow you to implement a lot of things that, which is kind of hard to implement in web usually, like header, animations with the drawer. Everything is built in by default because it's implemented, like it's using the Material UI framework. So we're using now Material, but if you want iPhone design, there's something called Cupertino here. I don't think it will work if I do that. Can I try? Just this one? Cupertino, this one? Like this? Does it work? Oh yeah.
It doesn't change anything.
Well, yeah, here it wouldn't change anything. And here, elevated button. I think he don't understand this. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. But you have to know that if you go, for example, here, you go to Cupertino app, you go on the documentation, it will give you documentation of how to use Cupertino apps and Cupertino, like iOS design. You have it for Windows, have it for macOS also. So you can actually design apps for every platform. Remember that Flutter uses a renderer engine, so you can override anything. You can mix Android UI and have some iOS button. It works. It's just drawing on the canvas, basically. So I'll just show the solution hub. Yeah, show it. So it's just a box with a cross inside. We give you like more 20 minutes. The second part is a bit longer, it's harder. So just continue. We'll come to see how it goes, and that's it. So happy 20 minutes.
Happy coding.
Happy coding, yeah. Okay, good. Okay, we're going just to correct this one, the step 5, because this one is much different than the other one. So this one you will use like the widgets. You will use how to create the layout. So I saw a lot of people struggling with the widgets and stuff. How to put them? Do they have? Is it like this or not? So basically, a widget is. So it's widgets is like the widget is composable. So every widget has child usually when it comes to layout. For example, here you have a container. Container it's a box, so it doesn't have anything for sure. It will have a child. So here, for example, you can try child, and you can put something. It can be a text. And here you have a text, so for sure it doesn't have any child because it's the text. It's a content itself. So you have the containers, you have the layouts, widgets, and the content. Content would be input, text, button, but button has some. Yeah, it has some child, but for layout to lay out the text inside. So in this exercise, the goal is to create the chat layout. So you have the top part is flexible. So
can a container have multiple children as well?
Container?
Can a container have multiple children?
No, container is just a box and can only have one. So for now there's 3 exceptions that can have multiple widgets. It's a row, column, because you have multiple widgets, and list, because you have a list of widgets. So just based on the semantic, you can kind of determine if there's multiple or not. So container, you always have to think that there's only one container or one content inside. So, for example, this one, it's a good example. Here you will have a column because we want to display something on top and something on bottom. So we can go like this, but column, and this one has children, and it gets, if you go to the documentation on children, you see that it can have a list of widgets. So the widget inside can be anything. It can be a text with a string hello. It can be a text button, for example. Whoa, so this one is so long. Okay, it's fine. Okay, this one is buggy, but it's not text here? Is it label? I don't remember. You can just go to documentation, and this one has a functional press, and it has a child. Okay, so here it's child. Why it doesn't work? Anyway, it can be also like as here, they introduce you the placeholder. So the placeholder can replace, for example, all this thing, placeholder. Does it work? Yeah. So if you have the rendering, so you can see here that there's two widgets with the cross. Basically, it was the placeholder. You can say that you have twice this one. So this create two boxes, but at the same size. So column basically take all the screen. So everything you put inside will just following from top to bottom. But as those two doesn't have any limits in the height, they have something called default height. So if you go into the documentation on this thing, where is it? It's here. It's this one. Up. So by default, if they cannot determine them size, because it's a column, so you have a column on the page, and they have to take all the space inside. The thing is they have a limit. So they have a limit of 400. So that's why when you put two placeholder, okay, I'll just try to show. I don't know if some of you saw, there's a yellow black line. I don't know if you saw that. It's because you're overflowing the screen. So the components are going outside the screen, and he's telling you, oh, you're going too far. There's a problem. If you replace that with a list view, you can scroll. So you don't have any issue. A column is just flexible. So it's just resizing the container inside. So yeah, here, this thing. Can I zoom here? Yeah. So I don't know if I can see, yeah, here. It says bottom overflowed by 617 pixels. So to fix it, you have to first change the height. You can change the height with saying by, okay, your fallback, what is it? Fallback height will be 64. So you can imagine that it's like this. It's just smaller, that's it. But the one on the top still do 400, this one. So I don't know if it's compiled fast. I can just show. Annoying. It's okay, I can prepare the other one. Yeah, okay. You can see that here, the big one is doing 400, and the other one 64. But there's still space, because as you have the column has an infinite space inside, and the fallback of the first one is 400. It keeps the space, and he just leave they both have size, and so they just leave a white space under. So to fix it, you use expanded to tell the widget, okay, this container will, oh, tac. Okay, I can press format here. So this widget expanded will tell, okay, I take all the space I can have inside. So if you're familiar with web, you have this flex 1. So by default, flex is already set at 1, but you can say, okay, this one I want it 2. And for example, this one flex at 1. So the first, oh no, it doesn't work because I don't have expanded. But if I have expanded like this, so if I have 2 expanded and value 2 and 2, for example, they will be 50-50. I take only 2 of 4 of the height, and now they only take 2 and 2. So if I do that, it's just 2/3, and the other one 1/3. Hmm? Yeah, it's just I wrote if there's this maybe or maybe not. Just comma. So for this example, okay, I just press solution, it's faster, don't need to code it. And I press this one. So this one is saying, okay, this one has a height, it has 64, and the other one has the whole space, so there's no white space, and he will be resizable. So this is the principle of Flex. It's a UI framework. If you do that on web, you can overflow. It doesn't say anything, and you can even tell him, okay, can you scroll, please? And he will. You don't need to specify any list view or anything. That's the big difference between Flutter and web, I would say. So Conan is very based on the parent size. So the parent size is the window, and you take all the space and you tell him, okay, put my children inside and let them figure out the space I have inside. And so yeah, you have this. So if I resize this thing, the first part will move, but then not the bottom part. So I saw some people struggling with the syntax of Flutter. If you you wrote your first widget, and you can see that it's only classes extended stateless widgets. So they are all stateless widgets. They are all widgets. So basically, you just use construct. Inside they have a child. You use construct. If they have a child, construct, etc., etc. So hopefully it helps more to create your UI. But that's it for this step. Maybe do you have any question about this layout? Okay. So we'll let them continue. Okay. So you can continue the step 6. Then now you understand how to write Flutter UI. So you can just go ahead for the next step. So who did the step 6? Oh, okay, so perfect. And okay, that's good.
Who's doing step 7?
Yeah. No, okay, almost.
Step 8?
Hi.
9?
No, okay, good. Okay, we can start with the chat lists. So in these steps, we will cover how, like, you saw how to compose your UI with only constructor, right? So these steps we're going to show you how to create with functions, with callbacks. So it depends on the widget and what the widget wants to do. He will create the widgets maybe later. So for example, the list view, if you see the documentation here, up. So the list view, for the list view builder constructor, we give him a number of times he has to iterate to create the widget. So maybe on the 2 or 4th iteration, you want to do something different. So that's why you use callbacks to generate things. So in these steps, the placeholder here will be changed. So basically, it will be list view list view dot build. So This view has many, like they have three different constructors. It has the normal one. It can have children, and this one is decorative one. So here you can create placeholders and multiply it anytime you want. It's just crawlable. It's the same. The way you write it is the same as colon. You just remove colon, you put list view. It's callable. So this is the normal one, and you have the builder one. So the builder one is a bit different. It doesn't have any decoration, widget decoration. So here you have to give the item count, maybe let's say 10. And it has an item builder. And here this property will have a callback. So it's a callback. So the function will be called internally from the list view, and during the iteration, he will give you the index, the current index he's doing. So here you add the index, and here you can return anything. So you can return placeholder or text, for example. And let's say you want to do something different. If index every 3, you want to do something different, you can return here a placeholder. And otherwise, you can just print the index. It wants a string, so just give it a string. Up. Placeholder. No red. Perfect. I can just run this. Take some time. Okay. Almost. Sorry, a bit slow. Yeah. So here I can so it matches this. So he just creates a placeholder, and after that you have 1, 2, and then a placeholder 1, 2 again. I know 4, 5. So yeah, you can create widgets with conditions and do different things. So in this for these steps, I wanted you to use list style. It gives you like a small container already prepared to display things in a way. So format. So this widget is usually used. I think you already see it in old Android. It was always, for example, the setting menu. It's always the same thing. You have an icon on the left. You have a title in the middle. Sometimes you can have like maybe a small description of what is it. For example, here you can have. Oh yeah, good, perfect. So here, for example, for our chat list, the left part could be the time. So I send it at 10 something. The title can be the message. The subtitle can be the sender. And the trailing, nothing. Or maybe delete the message or anything. It's just that this widget was the more convenient to create a chat list.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, any question for this one?
Yeah, how does this thing determine ahead of time where any of these elements should be? Like, I know this might sound stupid, it's just that I'm more familiar with HTML, CSS stuff. And when I'm seeing this, I'm seeing something that automatically assigns both the height, the size of the text, where it should be on the screen, and none of it is anywhere visible in the code.
Oh, okay.
See where it was.
Okay, so this is part of this thing. When you import material, you're actually importing the whole material design framework. So everything is already defined. So if you go here, material.
To change those, I need to go into material and extend it.
Sorry?
In order to change the defaults in material, I have to extend material.
No, you can. So for example, the title here, it's a bit too big. you can change the style of the text itself, just for this case. But if you want to apply it for the whole app,
Yeah.
before we saw material app, right?
Yeah.
And this thing inside has the default theme. So you can override the theme and say, okay, every list style, I want it to be smaller in the title, for example.
And the thing you can override with are set, or are they any number of conventional things?
Yeah, they're already predefined
So
by the framework.
is the list basically all-encompassing with everything you can do in HTML, or is it large or small?
Repeat? Sorry.
Well, in an HTML, I just know that I have the list of basically everything anyone on the internet wants to do, including CSS stuff. So I can use Times New Romans, or I can use Sans. Doesn't really matter what I use. It's there. I know it's there. Does Dart offer the same thing? The same level of flexibility? Or is it something predefined within the code that I cannot alter if I need to?
No, you can alter everything.
Oh,
Alter
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But is it in the code already, or do I need to import it from another source? If I have, for instance, a custom form of
So let's say
title.
you create your own theme and
Yeah,
then you want to apply in certain places. You can still do it. You
So-
can override what is predefined, or you can create your own thing. That doesn't matter. You
Okay,
can-
so there is an
You
option.
have
to
that
create-
flexibility. Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming that's more complex than just plugging it in.
And it's not like JS. JS is like a declarative language. This is like React programming. You have to put everything at once. Like go ahead and change something like the size. If you see for the text, we have size, we have everything. You have to put it everything at once. So this is the React programming.
For me, flexibility-wise, it's same as web actually. But let's say if you use the MUI.com or whatever, then you have to follow their patterns, right? Anyway, so we have the same issue. So if you use the material app, it's better to follow material pattern so that you can have the uniform design system everywhere. Right? But you can still custom if you want to go crazy for certain part, you can do it.
So actually, when you edit the theme, it gives you already the name of everything you're going to change. So when you change a text, it's not only one text; it's the list style, the text of the list style. So you're targeting exactly what component you want to change in the theme of material app. So for example, yeah, it's an example of how you style text. So it has style, and inside you have the class text style, and you just change the font size. Very similar to web. So this one, yeah. So for example, this one, just to put in context, it can be hour, here it can be any message. Here it can be the sender, so really, and here we can just remove it. So actually some widgets can have property which is optional.
I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, those can, yeah, okay. Okay, we can go to the next step. So the next step is the kind of second part of Flutter. So you usually use the widgets, which is stateless. This one, stateful, has a state. So how is it made of? It's made of two classes. So the first class here, it's like, oh no, it's not this one. Okay, oh here. So the stateful widget is based on two classes. So the first one is the kind of external use. It's how you're going to describe your view. You're going to use some widget. But the second part is hidden. So in Dart, if you put underscore, it's immediately private inside the file. You cannot use it outside the file. So this state is inside the stateful, which is instantiated inside the stateful widget, and this state will be able to build, so run the build function of the widget. So that means if you have the build inside the state, the state has something that trigger the rebuild. So you have set state here. Every time you change a value, for example, like this counter, you have to wrap it inside a set state. Set state will apply the new value and then trigger the rebuild. So if you rebuild everything outside the widget, the state will stay the same until you change it internally. So to convert a stateless widget to a stateful, you can use the tool, the shortcut. It doesn't work here? I don't have. Okay. Okay, never mind. I can do it like this. So I need this and this. Control? No, mine doesn't work. No, usually it gives a stateful the thing. That's fine. So I can just copy this, turn this to stateful, and I just do some adjustment. So this one is here. Page state? No, page state. And this one is this widget. So state of this widget. So here I have now like just separating the build to the widget itself. I turn it to a stateful, and here like just this, it's enough. So now here, if I rebuild, it doesn't change anything. It's just the stateful widget. So what did we do here? That's it? Okay. So that's it for the stateful. Up. Okay. This? No? Oh, okay. Okay, we don't have time for this one, but actually you can just try it at home and just go on the Discord if you have any question, if you want to continue. Yeah, but after it's not working. Yeah. I don't know if one's.
What I know is that actually step 8 require to understand step 7. That's why we split, and the step 7 is actually short, but it will help to do the step 8. Yeah. And actually, we're gonna close it from here.
The Q&A.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have any questions, there's a Q&A. No, do we have any question there?
Yeah, we'll have one for now. And he left. But it's an interesting question. So I just went next to him and he asked me this question. Just very fast. So I don't know if you notice some widgets have a const here. So he told me, why are you doing a function? But it's not really a function. What is it exactly? So const here. So, okay, you have to go back to the language itself. Flutter is compile, and so you have a compile time and you have a runtime. So everything which is const will be prepared, kind of, during the compile time. So if you create constant, during the compile time, he will put the kind of the prototype somewhere. And when you call it, it will be always the same instance. So you can prepare this for the widgets. You can say, okay, my widget will be unique, immutable. Immutable? Yeah. And you can just predefine the class to be a constant. So if you remove, that means this one, for example. If I do final something, widget, it would work. But if I try to put const here, it will say, oh, but you're trying to create a constant of something which is not constable, kind of. So if I add here const, it will change, and yeah, it changed. So okay, I can be a constant, so I can be prepared during the compilation time, the compile time, and then he just create this instance. So basically, this can be here, and it would work. So if you want to know more about this, why is it const, why is it final, what is the difference, maybe go deeper in Flutter, because it's very important in Flutter. it can change a lot of performance thing.
I have to say one thing. So if you can use const, always use it. As much as possible. So.
And also final, if you can use final as much as possible. Actually, the linter will help you. So it will say, oh, this one can be const. Okay, put it const. And the linter just fix. So it's perfect, yeah.
Can I understand that between the final and const is that const would be run during the function what the class need. It would
Yeah.
be stay frozen before you need to use.
Const is decided when you compile your code. And then final is still runtime.
Final is not, yeah, final is runtime. The const is not in runtime.
Const is compile time.
Okay.
So for example, if I do like a const of something, hello, and this one is word. Put it here. And I try to, for example, do this. Is it like this? No have time? Okay. Like if, for example, we create a final and you call print multiple times and you assign something different, it will create a new instance every time. But if you create a constant of something and you call it in a different places, it will be always the same hash code, so the same pointer, kind of, the same reference.